Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Friday Night Scripture Reading. We've been working our way through the book of Ezekiel. We're up to chapter 38, reading out of the LSB. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus says Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, chief priest of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you about and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you out. And all your military force, horses and horsemen, all of them magnificently dressed, a great assembly with large shields and shield, all of them wielding swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Put with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer with all its troops, Beth Togarmah, from the remote parts of the north, with all its troops, many peoples with you. Be prepared and prepare yourself, you and all your assembly that are assembled about you, and be a guard for them. After many days you will be mustered. In the last years you will come into the land that is restored from the sword, whose inhabitants have been gathered from many peoples to the mountains of Israel, which have been a continual waste. But its people were brought out from the peoples, and they are living securely, all of them. And you will go up, you will come like a storm, you will be like a cloud covering the land, you and all your troops, and many peoples with you. Thus says Lord Yahweh, it will be in that day that thoughts will come into your heart, and you will devise an evil plan, and you will say, I will go up against the land of unwalled villages. I will go against those who dwell quietly, that live securely, all of them living without walls, and having no bars or gates, to capture spoil or to seize plunder, to turn your hand against the waste places which are now inhabited, and against the people who are gathered from the nations, who have acquired cattle and property, who live at the center of the world, Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all its young lions, will say to you, Have you come to capture spoil? Have you assembled your assembly to seize plunder, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to capture great spoil? Therefore prophesy, Son of man, and say to Gog, Thus says Lord Yahweh, on that day when my people Israel are living securely, will you not know it? You will come from your place out of the remote parts of the north, you and numerous peoples with you, all of them riding on horses, a great assembly and a numerous military force. And you will come up against my people Israel like a cloud to cover the land. It will be in the last days that I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me, when I prove myself holy through you before their eyes, O Gog. Thus says Lord Yahweh, are you the one of whom I spoke in former days by the hand of my slaves, the prophets of Israel, who prophesied in those days for many years that I would bring you against them? And it will be in that day when God comes against the land of Israel, declares Lord Yahweh, that my wrath will mount up in my anger, in my zeal, and in my blazing fury. I have spoken that on that day there will surely be a great earthquake in the land of Israel, and the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, the beasts of the field, all the creeping things that creep on the ground, and all the men who are on the face of the earth will quake at my presence. The mountains also will be pulled down, the steep pathways will fall, and every wall will fall to the earth. And I will call for a sword against him on all my mountains, declares Lord Yahweh. Every man's sword will be against his brother. With pestilence and with blood I will enter into judgment with him, and I will rain on him and on his troops, and on the numerous peoples who are with him, a torrential rain, with hailstones, fire, and brimstone. And I will magnify myself, I will manifest myself as holy, and I will make myself known in the sight of many nations, and they will know that I am Yahweh. Chapter 39 of Ezekiel. Now as for you, son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus says Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn you around, drive you on, take you up from the remotest parts of the north, and bring you against the mountains of Israel. And I will strike your bow from your left hand, and cause your arrows from your right hand to fall. You will fall on the mountains of Israel, you and all your troops, and the peoples who are with you. I will give you as food to every kind of predatory bird and beast of the field. You will fall on the open field, for it is I who have spoken, declares Lord Yahweh. And I will send fire upon Magog and those who inhabit the coastlands securely. And they will know that I am Yahweh. And my name, and my holy name, I will make known in the midst of my people Israel. And I will not let my holy name be profaned any more. And the nations will know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is coming, and it shall be done, declares Lord Yahweh. That is the day of which I have spoken. Then those who inhabit the cities of Israel will go out and make fires with the weapons and burn them, both shields and large shields, bows and arrows, war clubs and spears, and for 7 years they will make fires of them. They will not carry wood from the field or gather firewood from the forest, for they will make fires with the weapons, and they will take the spoil of those who made them into spoil, and seize the plunder of those who plundered them, declares Lord Yahweh. And it will be in that day that I will give Gog a burial ground there in Israel, and valley of those who pass by east of the sea. And it will block off those who would pass by, so they will bury Gog there with all his multitude. And they will call it the valley of Hamon-Gog. And for 7 months the house of Israel will be burying them in order to cleanse the land. Even all the people of the land will bury them, and it will be unto their name on the day that I glorify myself, declares Lord Yahweh. Now they will set apart men who will continually pass through the land, burying those who were passing through, even those left on the surface of the ground, in order to cleanse it. At the end of 7 months they will make a search, and those who pass through the land will pass through. And when anyone sees a man's bone, he will set up a marker by it until the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon-Gog. And even the name of the city will be Hamanah. So they will cleanse the land. Now as for you, son of man, thus says Lord Yahweh, say to every kind of bird and to every beast of the field, gather and come, assemble from every side to my sacrifice, which I am going to sacrifice for you, as a great sacrifice on the mountain of Israel, that you may eat flesh and drink blood. You will eat the flesh of mighty men and drink the blood of princes of the earth, as though they were rams, lambs, goats, and bulls, all of them fatlings of Bashan. So you will eat fat until you are satisfied, and drink blood until you are drunk, from my sacrifice, which I have sacrificed to you. And you will be satisfied at my table, with horses and charioteers, with mighty men and all the men of war, declares Lord Yahweh. And I will put my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see my judgments, which I have executed in my hand, which I have placed on them. And the house of Israel will know that I am Yahweh their God from that day onward. And the nations will know that the house of Israel went into exile for their iniquity, because they acted unfaithfully against me. And I hid my face from them, so I gave them into the hand of their adversaries, and all of them fell by the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions, I dealt with them, and I hid my face from them. Therefore, thus says Lord Yahweh, now I will return the fortunes of Jacob and have compassion on the whole house of Israel, and I will be jealous for my holy name. So they will forget their dishonor and all their unfaithfulness which they perpetrated against me, when they live securely on their own land with no one to make them tremble. When I return them from the peoples and gather them from the lands of their enemies, then I shall prove myself holy through them in the sight of the many nations. Then they will know that I am Yahweh their God, because I made them go into exile among the nations and then collect them again to their own land, and I will leave none of them there any longer. And I will not hide my face from them any longer, and I will have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel, declares Lord Yahweh. Chapter 40 of Ezekiel. In the 25th year of our exile, at the beginning of the year, on the 10th of the month, in the 14th year after the city was struck down, on that same day the hand of Yahweh was upon me, and he brought me there. In the visions of God he brought me into the land of Israel, and caused me to rest on a very high mountain. And on it, to the south, there was a structure like a city. So he brought me there, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of bronze, with a line of flax and a measuring rod in his hand. And he was standing in the gateway. And the man spoke to me, Son of man, see with your eyes, hear with your ears, and set your heart on all that I am going to show you. For you have been brought here in order to show it to you. Declare to the house of Israel all that you are seeing. And behold, there was a wall on the outside of the house of Yahweh all around, and in the man's hand was a measuring rod of 6 cubits, each of which was a cubit and a handbreadth. So he measured the thickness of the wall 1 rod, and the height 1 rod. Then he went to the gate which faced east, went up its steps, and measured the threshold of the gate 1 rod in width, and the other threshold was 1 rod in width. The guard room was 1 rod long and 1 rod wide, and there were 5 cubits between the guard rooms, and the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate facing inward was 1 rod. Then he measured the porch of the gate facing inward 1 rod. He measured the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and its side pillars 2 cubits, and the porch of the gate was faced inward. The guard rooms of the gate toward the east numbered 3 on each side. The 3 of them had the same measurements. The side pillars also had the same measurement on each side. And he measured the width of the entrance of the gate 10 cubits, and the length of the gate 13 cubits. There was a barrier wall 1 cubit wide in front of the guard rooms on each side, and the guard rooms were 6 cubits square on each side. He measured the gate from the roof of the one guard room to the roof of the other, a width of 25 cubits from one door to the door opposite. He made the side pillars 60 cubits high. The gate extended around about to the side pillars of the courtyard. From the front of the entrance gate to the front of the inner porch of the gate was 50 cubits. There were shuttered windows looking toward the guard rooms and toward their side pillars within the gate all around, and likewise for the porches. And there were windows all around inside, and on each side pillar were palm tree ornaments. Then he brought me into the outer court, and behold, there were chambers and a pavement made for the court all around. 30 chambers faced the pavement. The pavement, that is the lower pavement, was by the side of the gates, corresponding to the length of the gates. Then he measured the width from the front of the lower gate to the front of the exterior of the inner court, 100 cubits on the east and on the north. As for the gate of the outer court, which faced the north, he measured its length, its width. It had 3 guard rooms on each side, and its side pillars, and its porches had the same measurement as the first gate. Its length was 50 cubits, and width 25 cubits. Its windows and its porches and its palm tree ornaments had the same measurements as the gate which faced toward the east, and it was reached by 7 steps, and its porch was in front of them. The inner court had a gate opposite the gate on the north, as well as the gate on the east, and he measured 100 cubits from gate to gate. Then he led me toward the south, and behold, there was a gate toward the south, and he measured its side pillars and its porches according to those same measurements. The gate and its porches had windows all around like those other windows. The length was 50 cubits, and the width 25 cubits. There were 7 steps going up to it, and its porches were in front of them, and it had palm tree ornaments on its side pillars, 1 on each side. The inner court had a gate toward the south, and he measured from gate to gate toward the south 100 cubits. Then he brought me to the inner court by the south gate, and he measured the south gate according to those same measurements. Its guardrooms also, its side pillars, and its porches were according to those same measurements, and the gate and its porches had windows all around. It was 50 cubits long and 25 cubits wide. There were porches all around, 25 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. Its porches were toward the outer court, and palm tree ornaments were on its side pillars, and its stairway had 8 steps. Then he brought me into the inner court toward the east, and he measured the gate according to those same measurements. Its guardrooms also, its side pillars, and its porches were according to those same measurements. And the gate and its porches had windows all around. It was 50 cubits long and 25 cubits wide. Its porches were toward the outer court, and palm tree ornaments were on its side pillars, on each side. And its stairway had 8 steps. Then he brought me to the north gate, and he measured it according to those same measurements, with its guardrooms, its side pillars, and its porches. And the gate had windows all around. The length was 50 cubits, and the width 25 cubits. Its side pillars were toward the outer court, and palm tree ornaments were on its side pillars on each side. And its stairway had 8 steps. A chamber with its doorway was by the side pillars at the gates. There they rinse the burnt offering. In the porch of the gate were 2 tables on each side, on which to slaughter the burnt offering, the sin offering and the guilt offering. On the outer side, as one went up to the entrance of the gate toward the north, were 2 tables. And on the other side of the porch of the gate were 2 tables. 4 tables were on each side next to the gate, or 8 tables on which they slaughter sacrifices. For the burnt offering, there were 4 tables of cut stone, a cubit and a half long, a cubit and a half wide, and 1 cubit high, on which they lay the instruments with which they slaughter the burnt offering and the sacrifice. The double hooks, 1 handbreadth in length, were installed in the house all around, and on the tables was the flesh of the offering. From the outside of the inner gate were chambers for the singers in the inner court, one of which was at the side of the north gate, with its front toward the south, and one at the side of the south gate facing toward the north. Then he said to me, "This is the chamber which faces toward the south, intended for the priests who keep the responsibility of the house. But the chamber which faces toward the north is for the priests who keep the responsibility of the altar. These are the sons of Zadok, who from the sons of Levi come near to Yahweh to minister to him." He measured the court, a perfect square, 100 cubits long and 100 cubits wide. And the altar was in front of the house. Then he brought me to the porch of the house and measured each side pillar of the porch, 5 cubits on each side. And the width of the gate was 3 cubits on each side. The length of the porch was 20 cubits, and the width 11 cubits. And at the stairway by which it was ascended were columns belonging to the side pillars, 1 on each side. Chapter 41 of Ezekiel. Then he brought me to the nave and measured the side pillars. 6 cubits wide on each side was the width of the side pillar. The width of the entrance was 10 cubits, and the side of the entrance were 5 cubits on each side. And he measured the length of the nave 40 cubits, and the width 20 cubits. Then he went inside and measured each side pillar of the doorway 2 cubits, and the doorway 6 cubits high, and the width of the doorway 7 cubits. He measured its length 20 cubits, and the width 20 cubits before the nave, and he said to me, "This is the Holy of Holies." Then he measured the wall of the house of Yahweh 6 cubits, and the width of the side chambers 4 cubits all around about the house on every side. The side chambers were in 3 stories, one above another, and 30 in each story. And the side chambers extended to the wall, which stood on their inward side all around, that they might be fastened, and not be fastened into the wall of the house itself. The side chambers surrounding the house were wider at each successive story because the structures surrounding the house went upward by stages on all sides of the house. Therefore, the width of the house increased as it went higher, and thus one went up from the lowest story to the highest by way of the second story. I saw also that the house had a raised platform all around. The foundations of the side chambers were a full rod of 6 long cubits in height. The thickness of the outer wall of the side chamber was 5 cubits, but the free space between the side chamber belonging to the house and the outer chamber was 20 cubits in width, all around the house on every side. The doorway of the side chamber toward the free space consisted of one doorway toward the north and another doorway toward the south, and the width of the place of the free space was 5 cubits all around. The building that was in front of the separate area at the side toward the west was 70 cubits wide, and the wall of the building was 5 cubits thick all around, and its length was 90 cubits. Then he measured the house 100 cubits long. The separate area with the building and its walls were also 100 cubits long. Also the width of the front of the house and that of the separate areas along the east side totaled 100 cubits. He measured the length of the building along the front of the separate area behind it, with a gallery on each side, 100 cubits, along with the inner nave and the porches of the court. The thresholds, the latticed windows, and the galleries round about their 3 stories, opposite the threshold, were paneled with wood all around, and from the ground to the window. But the windows were covered over the entrance into the inner house, and on the outside and on all the wall around inside and outside by measurement. It was carved with cherubim and palm trees, and a palm tree was between cherub, and every cherub had 2 faces, a man's face toward the palm tree on one side, and a young lion's face toward the palm tree on the other side. They were carved on all the house all around. From the ground to above the entrance, cherubim and palm trees were carved, as well as on the wall of the nave. The doorposts of the nave were square. As for the front of the sanctuary, the appearance of one doorpost was like that of the other. The altar was of wood, 3 cubits high, and its length 2 cubits. Its corners, its base, and its sides were of wood. And he said to me, "This is the table that is before Yahweh." The nave of the sanctuary each had a double door. Each of the doors had 2 leaves, 2 swinging leaves, 2 leaves for one door and 2 leaves for the other. Also, there were carved on them, on the doors of the nave, cherubim and palm trees, like those carved on the walls, and there was a canopy of wood over the front of the porch outside. There were latticed windows and palm trees on one side and on the other, and on the sides of the porch. Thus were the side chambers of the house and the canopies. Chapter 42. Then he brought me out into the outer court, the way toward the north, and he brought me to the chamber which was opposite the separate area, and opposite the building toward the north. Along the length, which was 100 cubits, was the north door. The width was 50 cubits. Opposite the 20 cubits, which belonged to the inner court, and opposite the pavement, which belonged to the outer court, was gallery corresponding to gallery in 3 stories. Before the chambers was an inner walk 10 cubits wide, a way of 100 cubits, and their openings were on the north. Now the upper chambers were smaller because the galleries took more space away from them than from the lower and middle ones in the building, for they were in 3 stories and had no pillars like the pillars of the courts. Therefore, the upper chambers were set back from the ground upward, more than the lower and middle ones. As for the outer wall, by the side of the chambers, toward the outer court, facing the chambers, its length was 50 cubits. For the length of the chambers which were in the outer court was 50 cubits, and behold, the length of those facing the temple was 100 cubits. Below these chambers was the entrance on the east side. as one enters them from the outer court. In the thickness of the wall of the court toward the east, facing the separate area, and facing the building, there were chambers. The way in front of them was like the appearance of the chambers which were on the north, according to their length. So was their width. And all their exits were both according to the arrangements and corresponding to the openings of the chambers which were toward the south, and was an opening at the head of the way in front of the wall toward the east, as one enters them. Then he said to me, the north chambers and the south chambers, which are opposite the separate area, they are the holy chambers, where the priests who are near to Yahweh shall eat the most holy things. There they shall lay the most holy things, the grain offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering. For the place is holy. When the priests enter, then they shall not go out into the outer court from the sanctuary without laying there their garments, in which they minister, for they are holy. They shall put on other garments. Then they shall come near to that which is for the people. Then he had finished measuring the inner house. He brought me out by the way of the gate which faced toward the east, and measured it all around. He measured on the east side with the measuring reed 500 reeds by the measuring reed. He measured on the north side 500 reeds by the measuring reed. On the south side he measured 500 reeds with the measuring reed. He turned to the west side and measured 500 reeds with the measuring reed. He measured it on the four sides. It had a wall all around, the length 500 and the width 500, to divide between the holy and the profane. Chapter 43. Then he led me to the gate facing toward the east, and behold, the glory of the God of Israel was coming from the way of the east, and his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. And it was like the appearance of the vision which I saw, like the vision which I saw when he came to bring the city to ruin. And the visions were like the vision which I saw by the river Chebar. And I fell on my face, and the glory of Yahweh came into the house by the way of the gate facing toward the east. And the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of Yahweh filled the house. Then I heard one speaking to me from the house, while a man was standing beside me. He said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell among the sons of Israel forever. And the house of Israel will not again defile my holy name, neither they nor their kings, by their harlotry, and by the corpses of their kings when they die, by putting their threshold by my threshold, and their doorpost beside my doorpost, with only the wall between me and them. And they have defiled my holy name by their abominations which they have done. So I have consumed them in my anger. Now let them put away their harlotry and the corpses of their kings far from me, and I will dwell among them forever. As for you, son of man, describe the house of Yahweh to the house of Israel, and that they may feel dishonor for their iniquities, and let them measure the plan. If they feel dishonor for all that they have done, make known to them the design of the house, its structure, its exits, its entrances, all its designs, all its statutes, and all its laws, and write it in their sight, so that they may keep its whole design and all its statutes and do them. This is the law of the house within its entire boundary, on the top of the mountain, all around, shall be most holy. Behold, this is the law of the house. And these are the measurements of the altar by cubit, the cubit being a cubit and a handbreadth. The base shall be a cubit, and the width a cubit, and its border on its edge round about one span. And this shall be the height of the base of the altar. And from the base on the ground to the lower ledge shall be 2 cubits. and the width 1 cubit. And from the smaller ledge to the larger ledge shall be 4 cubits, and the width 1 cubit. And the altar hearth shall be 4 cubits. From the altar hearth shall extend upward 4 horns. Now the altar hearth shall be 12 cubits long, by 12 wide, square in its 4 sides. The ledge shall be 14 cubits long by 14 wide, with its 4 sides. The border all around it shall be half a cubit, and its base shall be a cubit round about, and its steps shall face the east. And he said to me, Son of man, thus says Lord Yahweh, these are the statutes for the altar of the day it is made, to offer burnt offerings on it, and to splash blood on it. And you shall give to the Levitical priests, who are from the seed of Zadok, who draw near to me, to minister to me, declares Lord Yahweh, a bull from the herd for a sin offering. You shall also take some of its blood, and put it on its 4 horns, and on the 4 corners of the ledge, and on the border round about. Thus you shall purify it, and make atonement for it. And you shall take the bull for the sin offering, and it shall be burned in the appointed place of the house, outside the sanctuary. Now on the 2nd day you shall bring near a male goat without blemish for a sin offering, and they shall purify the altar as they purified it with the bull. When you have finished purifying it, you shall present a bull from the herd without blemish, and a ram without blemish from the flock. And you shall bring them near before Yahweh, and the priest shall throw salt on them, and they shall offer them up as a burnt offering to Yahweh. For 7 days you shall offer daily a goat for a sin offering, also a bull from the herd and a ram from the flock, without blemish, shall be offered. For 7 days they shall make atonement for the altar and purify it. So shall they ordain it. So they will complete the day. And it shall be on the 8th day and onward, the priest shall offer on the altar your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, and I will accept you, declares Lord Yahweh. Now I think we will stop right there with I will accept you. Isn't that wonderful that the blood of bulls and goats can never take away sin, but they were pictures of Christ, who would be a one-time offering for all. Daily a goat would be sacrificed. And even at that, it had to be purified. There had to be purification. Jesus has purified us once for all time. And now, because of that peace offering, Jesus, God accepts us. Praise the Lord. If the Lord wills it, we'll see you at Bass Chapel Sunday morning. Sunday school is at 10 a.m. Corporate worship is at 11 a.m. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.